Put some olive oil in our pot. A pretty generous helping of olive oil. I would guess this is about 3 or 4 tablespoons. We've got the pot under about medium heat because it's a pretty big pot, pretty dense pot. We've got to heat it up so that we can soften our onions. So we let that warm up a little bit. Alright. And we already had the flame on the pot for a little bit, so it didn't take too long to heat up the oil. We've got our onions in now, so we'll give that a little bit of a stir. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, you'll see the onions soften and become translucent. That means they're pretty nicely cooked. You want to keep the flame under about medium because you want to make sure you don't burn the onions at all. If you put it under high and you're not paying too much attention, you could pretty quickly burn them, or at least their edges will turn brown and dry, and that's really not what you want. So now you can see the onions have turned a nice kind of soft color, and you also see the volume's decreased quite a bit. So when the onion's pretty much cooked, then you're going to add the garlic, and you want to add the garlic right at the end, because if you add it too early, it's going to burn. And when the garlic burns, it leaves this sort of nasty, well, burnt garlic flavor that is not really that pleasing. So we add it right at the end of the onions cooking, and it doesn't take long to cook. Now we're going to add our sauce that we've strained from the through the food mill. We're going to ladle the first half of this bain-marie or so, because if you pour it, it just makes a horrible mess. So we have our 8-ounce ladle here. Okay, now we've ladled a bunch of the sauce in. Let's pour the rest in. Use our ladle to kind of keep it from splashing all over the place. Sauce is in. We're going to want to bring that to a simmer over medium to high heat. And as we do that, we're also going to be adding our herb bundle and some bay leaves, which we forgot to introduce at the beginning of this whole video. So there's our herb bundle. You just throw that in, give it a little bit of a stir, and now we're adding some rinds of the parmesan. You just cut off that dried end of the parmesan that you usually end up throwing away, and this adds a nice flavor to the sauce, and it uses part of the parmesan that you wouldn't use anyway. So we throw that in there, and then later on you can fish those out, and they taste pretty good. That's our Italian chewing gum here. Now our sauce has been simmering for about an hour or so. You want to simmer it on pretty much the lowest heat possible. Let's go ahead and add some bay leaves that we forgot to add earlier. Oops. So add about 1 bay leaf for each of the cans of tomato that we had. Okay, where's our camera going? There we go. And give that a little stir, and then we'll let it go for another hour or two. We're back about 2 hours later, so our sauce has been cooking about 3 hours, and you can see how the color is a lot darker, it's a lot more concentrated, just thick, and you can see now we pull a little spoon out how the onion softened, and it's got a nice thickness. It looks more like a sauce, an integrated sauce. Got our 6 quarts of sauce here. We're going to ladle off about 2 quarts of that. We use about 2 quarts of sauce for every pound of pasta.